now.
A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the TS3 Championship, where we bring you live to the Red Bull Ring, formerly known as the Österreich Ring, from the 1970s to 1987, before it changed its name to the A1 Ring from 1997 to 2003, before Red Bull bought the rights, bought the shares of the circuit, and they've been named the Red Bull Ring ever since from 2008 onwards. But we are here live for the Trackstars TS3 Touring Car Championship, where there could be big rewards here for this man, for WRT's Warpath 360 here. All he has to do is just race cleanly and keep his car in the front, and he might be able to take the victory. But alongside me to call all the action, unfortunately, we won't have DJ joining us in the box again, but we have this man, the Trackstars admin and the 4 times touring car champion. It's Racing Jarman Dalitz.
Yeah, good evening, Spud. Glad to be here with you again and having a good run here in the commentary box with you in the absence of DJ at the moment. But yeah, as you mentioned earlier, very big chance for Warpath to capture the championship tonight, and I think all he needs is about 93 points to get the job done over tonight's races.
It's going to be a bit of a mammoth task for Warpath. It will be a bit of a challenge, but we've got drivers such as Vossi, who's down in third place, looking to make a mark on Warpath as he has done over the last couple of rounds, alongside with Shifty, who took his debut victory back at Brands Hatch. But as we see the first lap coming through, we see a 1:22.8. We're not so sure of what benchmark lap times are, but we wait for Vossi to cross the line. He's just got that by 0.03 of a second. KPL Baseman comes through with a 1:23 flat. And then coming right down the rest of the field, we have the return of the Honda in Matsumaka STR, formerly known as ISA Matsumaka, but he's changed his gamer tag. But he's sitting pretty in sixth place there. But so good for Vossi in first place. As we see Darks cross the line, he can only get 12th place, where he was the pole position sitter for Brands Hatch. But then, unfortunately, his race went a little bit wayward over those 2 races.
Yeah, he had a very good run there at the start, but yeah, unfortunately he had a few incidents throughout the race last time at Brands Hatch, but I'm sure he'll be looking for an improved performance this time.
Exactly, so we've got to wait for Warpath to come through the sector. He's only down by about almost 0.6 here. We've got 14 runners tonight. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get SS Boy 82, the leader of the M&R racing team. Unfortunately, he might not be able to doesn't look like he can make the first race, but hopefully we can get him in for race 2 for a bit of a consolatory points and just bragging rights amongst his teammates. But it looks like the only driver from that M&R camp is going to be NZL Cowboys, who's down there outside the top 10. But Vossi comes through, doesn't improve his time. But Vossi, it's going to be this interesting battle again, Jarman, between Vossi and Warpath, and maybe Shifty can come through and make it a battle pack, and he has done by putting his car into third place. So good start for those 3 who are the front 3 in the Brands Hatch race. So we'll have to wait and see how these guys go at the end of the race. We see Renegade 575 put in a solid time there, but he's still a second behind Vossi in first place.
Yeah, and the Dogs just went up in the third place with a good time there, just outside the 122. So after that shocking first lap, he must have got caught up in traffic or something, or maybe made a mistake like he just did then. He's gathered it back together and made sure he's put in a good lap time there.
Exactly, so we can see the gaps there. It is very close between the top 4, and it only covers are about 2/10, just a bit over 2/10 of a second. So it's going to be we're going to have to wait and see who can actually come out on top with about 2 minutes to go in the qualifying session. And hopefully, whether we see a different pole sitter, either we could see maybe Shifty get himself a pole position in the race, but we'll have to wait and see as we watch these guys come around. We see Warpath coming onto the straight. Can he improve his time? No, he doesn't. So he's still not able to improve his time. Can Vossi improve? He has. And he's actually stretched the gap there just a little bit over his competitor in Warpath by about 2.27 of a second. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, probably about 0.2 of a second. Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
Maths there.
Exactly, and then we've got Vossi, Warpath, Dark 74, the first of the Lexus runners in third. Then we have Shifty in fourth, and then in fifth we have KPL Baseman, followed by ISR Renegade in sixth, Soul Reaper in seventh, Big Red UFA in eighth place. But this is going to be the last lap for Dark 74. Can he replicate his pole position lap that he had at Brands Hatch only 2 weeks ago? We'll have to wait and see. As we see our drivers coming through, who do you think is going to get? Who do you think can wrap up pole position in the next minute and a half, Jarman?
Oh, I'm going to say Vossi's looking the goods at the moment, especially with Warpath just going across that second sector and being a couple tenths down. But who knows? Maybe Doug's can spring a surprise here on his final flying lap.
Let's wait and see. And I'm not so sure where the fastest Honda NSX driver in Matsumaka is. I wonder if he's still inside the top 10 or not. But we've got to keep an eye on Warpath 360. Doesn't look like he's going to improve his lap again, so he's just losing time. And this has to be the lap. This has to be, he needs to find 0.27 of a second over Vossi around this 4.318 kilometer circuit located in Salzburg in Austria, where we have Shifty coming through, not even, so can't even improve his time. KPL Baseman couldn't do that either. ISR Renegade, doesn't look like he's going to improve his lap. So far it's a bit more of a stalemate amongst the drivers here, Jarman. So I'm not so sure if we're going to see any improvements in the next 30 seconds, but only time will tell.
Yeah, let's see what Dargs has this time around. He's gone to the top.
Oh, wow, he's gone to the top there by 0.1 of a second over Vossi. So take a bow, Dark 74 there. The second time he's put that Lexus on the front row here, but it's not over yet. We've got about 5 seconds left. What about Vossi? What about Warpath? What about Shifty? Where are those guys when it comes to lap time? Can they get themselves closer towards Dark 74 here as we see Vossi coming through the technical section here? Will he go green? Will he go purple? It doesn't look like it, so I don't think he's going to be challenging for pole position. But Warpath 360 is still in third place there. So he's the first of the front runners coming across to the final corners. Rounding up turn 8 for the final time in qualifying. Can he improve his time? It looks like he might be able to improve. Can he get his up into the front row? No, he doesn't. So he can't do it. And Vossi's got himself a half-second penalty. That'll be kicking himself for that. So it looks like it's good. So far, so good for Dark 74 here. But what about Shifty in the 43? Can he improve his time? Can he get himself to the top or the front row? No, he doesn't. So I believe that's all the front runners, Jarman, and it looks like it's going to be 2 in a row for Dark 74.
Yeah, very good lap there from Darks again, and now this time he's just going to have to focus on converting it through into the races.
As we see him going around the final corner, he might be able to improve his time. It looks like he's getting a little bit quicker. No, not quite. So I don't think we see any more runners on the track just looking to improve the laps. What about CP Flapsticks, the owner of CP Motorsports? He moves himself up into 6th place there. So that's a pretty good leap. That's a big leap there for CP from 10th to 6th. So good on you, CP. And nice to see you coming back onto the track in the number 47 Nissan GTR in 6th place there. So that is it, Jarman. Dark 74 takes pole position for the second time in a row. But this is the most important thing. He needs to get that launch from the Lexus, and he needs to be leading into turn 1 and into turn 2.
Yeah, that's going to be the crucial part there. And yeah, he's done a very great job to get the second pole position in a row. Now he just needs to convert it, and of course, have to mention that good lap there of CP Flapstick just jumping himself up the order towards the end.
So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, for round 9 in the TS3 Championship. The championship is coming to a conclusion here at the Red Bull Ring. We have Dark 74 on pole position with Vossi in second, Warpath in third, Shifty in fourth, KPL Baseman and CP Flapstick in sixth. Renegade and Soul Reaper, as the lights go green, we are green flag racing, and Darks has got the perfect launch that he needs. He's trying to cover the inside over Vossi, but Vossi's just got a car length ahead of him. But does he outbrake himself? He does, and I think a bit of contact was made, Jarman, between Zargs and Vossi there, so we're not so sure. We'll have to wait and see. But Shifty's moved himself up into third place, but so far leading the way is Dark 74, and we see some good improvements there from Renegade moving himself up into fourth place. As we see that replay between Dargs and Vossi, so that's a great launch there for Vossi. And unfortunately, it looks like we'll see if any contact was made. No, it wasn't actually. So I think Dargs just wanted to outbrake Vossi there, and it looks like it just worked for him, and he's actually got first place. But oh, good pickup there. Something happened between Gorda, Big Red, and NZL Cowboy there. So very unfortunate for those guys there, and Gordic is all the way down in 14th place as we see that replay again. Looks like from what well, we'll have to wait and see what happened here. Does he outbrake himself, NZL Cowboy? Oh, a little bit of a, so I think that was a bit more of a chain reaction domino effect from that midfield there. So I don't think anyone can blame Cowboy for that incident. I think it was just more of a, a domino effect racing incident. So I guess in a way, just play on, I guess.
Yeah, probably one of those bumping into each other sort of fit deals, and yeah, just probably not a lot you can really do about it. But the battle between Dargs and Vossi is raging on here, and at the end of the first lap, it is Dargs who just has the advantage over Vossi so far. But Vossi is right on his tail, and certainly won't be making this an easy race for Dargs.
Definitely not there, but one man I'm not seeing in the top 8, Jarman. I'm not seeing a Warpath 360. So where has he dropped? He was starting in 3rd place there, and he's not even inside the top 8. So where could he be? He's actually down there in last place. So something has happened to Warpath 360 on that opening lap there, and he's gone from 3rd to 14th in a span of 4.3 kilometers. And I'm not so sure what happened to him, but obviously an incident between the front runners. But that is something that has just gone from bad to worse, where he could be wrapping up a championship. We'll see his teammate in Soul Reaper just catch the curbing there on the exit of turn 2 there. Just, I guess, not much you can do when you hit the curbing. The car's just going to spit you out there.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful on the throttle coming out of that corner. If you give it too much acceleration, it'll just spit you out the other side, and yeah, you'll be just a passenger from there. And I think a lot of us can attest in the main series, especially in the wet, it becomes an issue.
So on the commencement of lap 3, we see Dark74 leading the way ahead of Vossi in 2nd place. Renegade has moved himself up very nicely to 5th from 3rd place from 5th place on the grid. Shifty holds his place in 4th place with we see, as we speak of Renegade, commentator's curse, he goes from 3rd to 6th place. So a big spin for Renegade there in the Nicky Lauda corner there, coming into the 3rd lap here. So did he get touched by Shifty, or did he just run a bit wide?
Yeah, it's looking like he just ran a bit wide. Yeah, got up on that sausage curb and just lost the traction, and around he went.
Oh, that is so unlucky for Renegade. He was looking forward to this event, and he's just done it again. So it just goes from bad to worse for Renegade. The wet grass on his tyres does not help with traction whatsoever there, and he only drops himself down into 10th place there, where there is an actual battle going on for 3rd place in the standings, Jarman, between Benjo, his teammate in Renegade, and then you look at the likes of Vossi, and I think the other one was, NZL Cowboy there for 3rd place. So it's a bit of a tight pack there, but for Renegade, that's not going to help his cause with Benjo up in 6th place. Actually, there was KPL Baseman. So Baseman looks like he's the one that's got the upper hand over Benjo. But so far, a great battle we're seeing between Dargs and Vossi here at the conclusion of lap 3. And Vossi just goes a little bit faster. So if you're Vossi, would you want to try and stick behind Dargs and just maybe give him a little bit more of a push? Or would you just try to make the move straight away? As I do say that, it looks like he's about to make the move. So the words were just ripped out of my mouth there, ladies and gentlemen. And Vossi takes over the lead of the TS3 championship here at the Red Bull Ring. But can Dargs fight back? Can he get himself back up onto the inside? No, he doesn't. So advantage goes to Vossi, Jarman, and Dargs in 2nd place.
Yeah, I was going to answer that question and say it's usually always better to be leading, especially those last 2 corners. You can't really get a run out of those. So if you're leading into there and having a good run through there, then it's going to be really tough for the guy in 2nd to get a slipstream and get you to the finish line.
So Vossi leading the way ahead of Dark. Shifty is getting himself pretty close to the pack here, so we won't count out Shifty out. He did take his debut victory in the Brands Hatch Grand Prix only about a couple of weeks ago, so he's got some pace to burn off as well, and trying to move himself up towards the front. But I think he's about 2.5 seconds behind Darks there with CP Flapsticks. A great performance by CP, getting that good last qualifying lap in for 6th, and now in the race for 4th place. He's going to be a very happy man as he's a very happy team manager at the moment, as he sees his boys in the running in the elite brake mechanical. But as I cut to the action here, we see Vossi getting himself a half-second penalty. Actually, not 1.5 second, a 1.5 second, gentlemen.
Yeah, that's a massive penalty there, so he's really going to have to slow down, burn that off. That's just going to hand the lead straight back to Darg, so Darg has now put himself in the box seat here, and Bossie's coming under attack from Shifty as well through that penalty.
And Shifty's taken a full advantage of that penalty that Vossi had to burn, and it was a really nice burn there for Vossi, so well done, buddy. Watching the videos and watching the burn zones that we put up on the Trackstars Discord for all our drivers to watch and view carefully, as it is a very fine margins when it comes to burning penalties, but at least if you try to keep it within the burn zone and you apply full brake pressure, then you won't be sent to the steward's room. So good showing there by Vossi, but now he's got himself a bit of a fight back. He's got about 3 seconds to get closer to Darg's there, but he's coming through the entry of turn 5 with a nice move there. A little bit of a push and shove between Shifty and Vossi, but looks like Vossi's come out on top of that, and looks like Shifty's not happy with that move that Vossi made.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably pushing the boundaries a little bit. He didn't really leave Shifty too much room on the outside there, so who knows, maybe I can understand Shifty not being too happy with that one, to be honest.
So we'll have to wait and see what the post-race, if there's any post-race incident between those guys, but I think they're just going to keep it nice and clean on the track. Well, let's run through the field, shall we? Now we're almost about halfway through this event. We have Dark 74, the privateer driver, and the 174 leading the way, ahead of Vossi in the Car 40 Ice R Racing Nissan GTR, with Shifty in 3rd place and CP Flapsticks in 4th, holding a nice position there. KPL Basement looks like he's going to be closing up to Flapsticks in 5th place there. And then we see in 6th place, we see Benjo 19 in 6th place, ahead of his teammate in Big Red UFA, who got into a little bit of that kerfuffle action at the beginning of the race there, but he's come very nicely, coming charging through the field into 7th place, and it looks to be making a move on his teammate very shortly. Then we see Oz Tormentor in 8th place there, as he looks to go around the outside Big Red, but he does beat a big switchback on Benjo there, and he's up into 6th place there. So full credit to Big Red there. A solid move there from you, buddy, to get into 6th place.
Yeah, I was nearly going to cycle through the field there as the TV director, but I thought, well, I can see a move getting lined up here, so I might just stick with that for a few seconds and see how it plays out.
Exactly, and then we see Tormentor, one of I guess you could say the lead driver of the WRT Motorsports so far in this race. Unfortunately for Warpath, not having the best time. Then we see Renegade down in 9th place, and then we have, I believe that is Gordok 69 in 10th place, rounding up the top 10 with Mats Marker in the Honda in 11th place there. But Gordok just runs a bit wide. Then Warpath is right behind you. So basically, it is essentially it's a 2x2 formation between the ISR boys and the WRT boys, and Warpath has just cleared his teammate just to let him, maybe a bit of team orders there for Warpath and Gordon. But so far, we've got 14 runners, and all our 14 runners are running clean races, but so far leading the way halfway into the stint, it is Dark 74, the 174.
Yeah, Darg's doing an excellent job so far, out to a 3.1 second lead over Vossi, but sure, Vossi will be aiming to just drill that in over the closing laps of this race, but of course we'll have to keep an eye on Warpath as well. If he can get himself into the top 10, that'll sort of set him up really nicely to get the points he needs in the second race to wrap up that championship.
It was at the point, it was really close between Warpath and Cyric, where they were both trading victories and podiums amongst each other, but unfortunately when Cyric put in a better time in his Porsche Cup circuit experience at the circuit Spa front shop, and then getting himself into the A ranking, unfortunately he had to withdraw from the TS3 championship. But nonetheless, they provided some great battles, but we've seen some new battles forming along with Vossi, and then now Dark 74 and Shifty. So Warpath's got a little bit more of competition in the TS3, and it's not making it easy for him to wrap up the championship at this round.
Yeah, he's certainly made it a lot harder for himself here so far, but he's coming back strongly here, and he'll be looking to make a move on Mats Macker at what I call the second turn up here.
Yeah, I think there's that little kink there that tells us that it is turn 2 on the geographic stated, but I think us race fans, we call the top of the hill turn 2. So I guess that's fair enough for him, but Warpath looks like he's sizing up a move on Matsumaka. Can he make an inside move coming into turn 3? He's just a little bit too far away, but full credit goes to Matsumaka, the only Honda driver in the field this evening, and he's putting in a nice position, nice performance in 10th place. He was running up as high as 6th place, I saw, before he looked like he had a penalty to burn, so unfortunately for him, was having a good run, but unfortunately it just drops him just into the tempo. He's got Warpath, the championship leader, in his mirrors.
Yeah, but also as you can see, Warpath is on the fastest lap at the moment, so he's certainly given his all to get past Matsumaka. But yeah, he's the Honda driver's doing an excellent job of keeping him behind as well, so full credit to him. And may not be faster, but he's certainly doing all that he needs to do to keep himself inside that top 10.
It's a little bit more quiet up towards the front. I'm not so sure if Vossi, actually, no, I speak that Vossi is actually now taking the lead ahead of Dark 74 there. So something's happened to Dark 74 on that lap there. And for Darks to come through, he looks, I wonder if he had to burn a penalty judgment, because he's right right back down there in the mid of the second place. And then it looks like he just ran a bit wide there. So goes from bad to worse for Dark 74, who looked for a certain victory there.
Yeah, I would have said that was nearly a certainty, but yeah, I'm going to say the fact that it's gone from 3 seconds in front to 2 seconds in behind would suggest that he's probably had to burn a penalty somewhere.
So, and we just had Sirik in the chat there say you got to watch out for the last corner she bites. Absolutely, and we saw that with Vossi and possibly we've now seen that with Dark. So drivers have to be very careful as the track limits around this track is very sensitive. So one little wheel offline compared to the guy in front of you could possibly lead you to a half second, if not a full second penalty there. So there's track bites, as he says, but I guess it's all about trying to master the track at the same time, as well as finding speed at the same time.
Yeah, it seems like a simple layout, but there's certainly a lot to get right here and a lot you can easily get wrong.
He's coming under pressure from Shifty behind him, so in third place. So Shifty looks like he's going to be sizing up a move over the next couple of laps as we are approaching the end of the race. But we see Big Red actually move himself up into fourth place. So again, he's been doing a stellar job there. So he's made the move on KPL Basement, but Basement's looking to make a bit more of a charge and comeback fight between these guys. I did see CP flashing his lights there, so something happened between those guys, maybe a bit of biff and barge between those guys, but so far it looks like Big Red is doing a stellar job from all the way back from the back of the grid to fourth place, and that is I guess you could say that is a man of the match effort for Big Red.
Yeah, that's an excellent drive there from Big Red, and of course we just saw in the background that CP Flat Stick has just moved up into the top 5 again with a nice move down the inside of KPL Baseman.
As we see, and then we see, it looks like we're going to have Chase really catching up to Big Red UFA in the dying couple of laps here. So Chase has got a bit of work to do to get back into fourth place. But you could say for Chase and for the rest of the boys to be racing pretty high up into the grid, that's pretty awesome to see. As we see Shifty now get himself ahead of Dark, so it looks like it's just going from bad to worse for Dark 74. Could it just be the performance of the Lexus car compared to the Nissans, that it might not just have the race pace, it might have quality pace as we've seen in Dark's hands, but obviously in the race pace it just doesn't have that race trim that drivers want.
Yeah, maybe looks like he's made a mistake somewhere there, because obviously the lap time has dropped a little bit on the last lap, so who knows, maybe he just made a slight mistake there and it let Shifty through. But obviously it's easy to be quick over one lap, but maybe he's pushing a bit too hard to get the Lexus to keep up with the Nissans, and it's just coming unstuck for him.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame there, because it would have been really nice to see. Finally, we could see a Lexus victory in the TS3 Championship, where it's all been dominated by the Nissan GTRs there. I think over the pre-season with this event, we tried to make the cars the balance of performance really close as they could, as close as we can, because the Nissan was the most dominant car, or is the most dominant car out of the 3 cars on the track. But I guess we had to really detune the car a fair bit just to make a match with the Lexus cars. But I think we tried to get it as close as we could, and we felt like we did. But I guess amongst these drivers, you could say the Nissans are just a little bit popular over the Lexus cars. But I did see on the attendant on the registration forms there are more Lexus drivers than Nissan drivers. So that's an interesting strategy.
Yeah, that's probably an interesting one. Maybe it might just be down to team choice, I would say. That might be one of the big possibilities.
Possibly, but we'll have to wait until we see another Lexus victory, maybe in race 2. But so far in race 1, it goes to this man. Vossi has got a clear track ahead of him, 2.8 over Shifty in second place, and Darks in third, and Big Red UFA in fourth as he rounds up the final couple of corners here at the Osterreich Ring, coming into turn to 7 and 8. Round the final corner, and for the ISAR camp, it belongs to Vossi in the number 40, taking the victory for race 1 here at the TS3 Championship for round 9 here at the Red Bull Ring, with Shifty in second place, Dark 74 after getting pole position in third place. Big Red UFA, big congratulations to Big Red, a solid driver, great drive for Big Red to get up into fourth place, with CP Flapsticks in fifth. Then we have KPL Baseman in sixth place, Benjo in seventh place, and then we have Renegade rounding up the top 8 there.
Of course, Warpath coming in ninth place, so a solid haul of points there after the first lap incident that he must have gotten himself into, but yeah, he's recovered well enough to take a ninth place finish.
Yeah, so something definitely happened with Warpath. We're not so sure whether he got contact or whether he, or maybe he just had a bit of a spin around in one of those tight, twisty corners there. So we'll have to wait and see on the replay. But as we see Soul Reaper rounding up the top 14, we have all our drivers completed the lap, and it belongs to Vossi for race 1 here at the Red Bull Ring. For round 9 for the Styrian sprint, belongs to the ISAR driver in the number 40, taking the victory and the fastest lap in the event there. So big congratulations to Vossi, and I guess you could say over your short stint in the TS3 Combox, you must be really impressed with Vossi's progress so far.
Yeah, the last couple of rounds he's really put in some strong performances, and yeah, a couple of wins across those last 2 rounds, and then of course the second place just a round previous to that. I think that was Bathurst, I believe.
Yeah, he was running in second place. Warpath really destroyed the field when it came to that. So unfortunately, he couldn't put up much of a fight there. But I think it was a great, entertaining race nonetheless, as we see Vossi rounding up the first positions there, and then we got Shifty in second place, and then Dark 74 in third, Big Red UFA in fourth, CP Flapsticks in fifth. So a nice drive there for Flapsticks in fifth, and KPL Baseman in sixth, with Benjo 19 in seventh, Renegade in eighth, Warpath, a nice recovery drive for him, but not one that he wanted, in ninth place, and Gordok 69 rounding up the top 10, with Matsmaka, the first of the Honda drivers, in 11th place, Oz Tormentor in 12th place, and then we see the likes of NZL Cowboy in 13th, and then we have Soul Reaper rounding up the top 14.
Yeah, I better just quickly move that screen just so that we can see that for the results.
Absolutely. So as we get ourselves ready for race 2 underway, I will cross live to the Elite Breaker Mechanicals Tickford Drive for Autism. We're on the final lap here, and it looks like it's going to be going to the Pit Lane Esports team, with Hainsey07 rounding up the final corner of the Parabolica. He's going to take the victory here, and he and Pit Lane Esports have won the Elite Breaker Mechanical Tickford Racing Drive for Autism. So big congratulations to the Pit Lane Esports guys who's taken out outright victory, with TX3 GTR in the RER Ragged Edge Racing in second place, and then we have PX7 Amazing Hour in third place there. So big ups to Pit Lane and our boys down there for putting on a strong performance there. And your teammate looks like he's come through into ninth place. My teammate in Captain Risky in 7th.
That's a interesting result. I would have expected probably both of them to be a bit further up, especially Risky. I would have assumed he'd be up in the top 5, maybe fighting for the win even, but
yeah, absolutely. I think it all, I just caught it up on the glimpse on my little screen between TX3, PX7 and Hainsey that was going into the De La Roggia corners, and I think TX3 just pushed PX7 a bit wide, and Hainsey, you could say, was the Stephen Bradbury of the race, and he came through and he took the lead on the final lap, having not led a lap in that race. So kind of a bit more of a Chaz Mostert kind of feeling for Hainsey there. So, but still, nonetheless, regardless, big congrats to those guys, and thoroughly deserved with that wonderful drive from Hainsey.
Yeah, and of course a great event for charity, so good to see everyone taking part, and hopefully everyone all enjoyed themselves throughout the entire event.
Absolutely. Well, I enjoyed my stint. Unfortunately, I couldn't get away with the victory there in my stint, but I'll still take a P2. But I think in a way we could say, I mean, we all love a victory, Jamie. We all love winning races, and we all love having a good time. But I think it's all about the bigger picture, and we both, and all the teams that has participated in tonight's event, it's all about racing for autism and racing for those that are on the spectrum, and it's all about, you know, having a fun time against the best of the best in league racing here in Australia. But it looks like we do have the overall victory in Hainsey 07 with TX3 GTR in second and PX7 Amazing Hour in third. So big congrats to those guys. But the big picture is we're all winners, and we all race for autism, and we are all in it for autism. So big shout out to EBM Shane Mitchell for organising and running the event. Without him, that would not have been possible.
Yeah, of course. Thanks to our major sponsors at EBM, and of course Shane Mitchell, who is the owner of EBM as well. And yeah, he put in a huge effort throughout the last few months just organising that event, and it's good to see that it all came together reasonably well, even though, as usual, the Gran Turismo Sport servers decided to try and say otherwise, but I think they overcame those issues as much as they could, and I think overall that was a very great event that they ran and put together.
Exactly, and it was a really great event, and it was great to see new faces that I don't think we've raced against, and, you know, seeing how they drive. And I think we could say, you know, between you and I and the boys here at Trackstars Racing Series, we've all had a great time, and it's all about the big picture, like I've said. So I think we all get together. It brings us closer as a group, as a team, and as a series, that we could race in events like this.
Yeah, that's certainly right there. And of course, I know we've spoken about the event a lot, but I think also we probably might need to turn our attention towards race 2 as well. So just a little bit of a quick update as far as championship standings go. I believe that through my quick calculations, Warpath just needs to finish 13th in this one, and he's got the series wrapped up.
Ooh, wow. So it looks like, I think he's going to definitely get above 13th. But like we saw in that race, anything can happen for Warpath, as we saw in that race, starting third and only finished 9th there. So a big unfortunate event for Warpath. But can he get himself in? Can he get himself higher? Can he insert himself with that Vossi Shifty Dargs battle pack? We'll have to wait and see as race 2 is about to commence, ladies and gentlemen. We're here live for the Trackstars TS3 round 9 Styrian sprint for race 2. And then we're going to have Vossi on pole position for this event here. So let's place. So like I say with DJ Jarman, we're going to place our bets, Monopoly money. Who have we got for race 2 and for the overall victory?
It would be hard to go past Vossi, but emotionally, I'm probably going to say that I'd like to see Dargs get a win here. I reckon he's been very quick, and I just reckon he deserves to get some reward for his efforts.
And I think so too, as we get ourselves ready for underway, as we see the race about to begin. I'll leave you to it, Jarman. I'm just going to set up the room for the pre-qualifying, so I'll let you get started with the call.
All right, so I'm having the reins here. It sounds like fun. So we've got Vossi starting from pole position, Shifty joining him alongside on the front row, and then of course Dargs, our pole sitter earlier tonight, in third place, and then Big Red U of A, who had that strong drive at the start of through race 1. As they get ready to go racing again here in race number 2, round 9 of the Trackstars TS3 Touring Car Series. And we are underway now, and it looks like Shifty's off to a great start, along with Dargs, who's tried to split through the middle here and just pushes Vossi a little bit, but it's going to be Shifty that takes the lead through turn 1, followed by Dargs, and Big Red U of A has managed to get himself in the 3rd place. So race 1 winner Vossi dropped down to 4th place. Looks like a pretty clean start so far at this stage, unlike the first race. So Shifty leads through the hairpin at the top of the hill. Dargs just behind in 2nd. Clocker Carl's just running wide there a bit. I think that was Big Red U of A that just ran wide there, and that allows Vossi back into the top 3. Just a bit further back, KPL Basement getting down the inside of Big Red U of A for 4th place. And then of course we've got ISAR Renegade and ISAR Benjo in 6 and 7, just on the tail as well. And of course CP Flat Stick as well. Just in that battle pack is probably from 4th through till 14th is probably just pretty much nose to tail actually. And it'll be very interesting racing. Maybe we might see them spread themselves out a bit more there. As Benjo looks down the inside of Renegade, gets the job done there. That might open the door for CP Flat Stick to get up the inside as well. Just a bit of touch and banging there between this Flat Stick, Renegade, and I believe that's NZL Cowboy. So it looks like they're going 4 wide up in the turn 1.
4 wide into Louder Corner. That is incredible, and that's not going to end up nicely there for, looks like NZL Cowboy there, who got the worst of that. But that was a huge moment there, almost 4 wide, but I didn't catch the start there. That Vossi had a terrible start at the beginning of the race there, so that's not what Vossi wanted in his eyes to try and get back-to-back victories. As we see Renegade get punted, but looked like by his teammate there.
And I think Flatstick spun around as well.
Can we see Flapsticks? Yes, he has. So that's a confirmation there. So Flapsticks has taken the brunt of the turn 2 shenanigans here, and he's got the worst. He's got the worst of it. Coming into turn 2, he's right behind Matsumaka. So he actually hit Matsumaka into Renegade. So then Flapstick comes around. Did he get tagged? It looks like he has, but was that by? I wonder if that was by what's his name in NZL Cowboy. I wonder if he got tagged in by that. So we'll have to look at that and the replay. So we'll look back in the rear vision mirror of CP Flapsticks here, just getting right into the thick of it. Just gives, that's where he must have hit Matsumaka. Yes, it looks like he did get tagged there, but I guess unfortunately, you could say for Cowboy, had nowhere to go, Jarman.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tough one there. He probably just got up the inside, maybe just got a little bit out of control there, and it just spun CP Flatstick around, but just have a bit of a look up the front a bit. Shifty is out to a 1.2 second lead so far over Dargs. And Vossi is very much in this race as well. He's just a little bit further back from Dargs in 3rd place.
Then we see Vossi in 3rd with Big Red UFA about 1.6 behind Vossi there, but he's not going to be giving up. He wants to try and get on that podium like he did at the Kyoto race just before the main event of the Kyoto 500. So Big Red will be looking for a big charge here. Try to close the gap to Vossi and Dark. So before get himself on the podium, that'll be a nice achievement for Big Red this evening, where we see KPL Basement holding a nice 5th place again. So that'll be a double 5th place, but so far we did this early in the race, but anything can happen. We'll see Benjo in 6th place, and then with Warpath, he's actually moved up into 7th place there. So that's a nice drive. That's a nice little drive for Warpath, getting 2 positions at the start of the race. But unfortunately, you have to go back to Renegade and Matsumaka, the 2 teammates colliding. But I guess Matsumaka had nowhere to go with that contact with Flapstick.
Yeah, that was a very tough one there, obviously for Cowboy, and then I believe it was, Matsumaka that ended up being pushed wide there as well. So unfortunate for him. I'm not sure where he's ended up now. He's actually down in 14th himself, so he must have made a mistake somewhere.
So sure there, but we'll have to wait and see. But he's all the way down in 14th, so it's not looking good for the sole Honda driver here in the Woodstock and ISAR entry in 14th place there. So not the run that he wanted, but we see Warpath getting right on the tails of Benjo. So he'll be looking to make a move coming into turn 2. Can he make the move before Benjo backs out? No, he doesn't. So he's going to stick right behind coming onto this second part of the straight. So it is a fast track, Jarman. So we're looking for cars that to be very slippery, but for these cars, they're not actually tuned. So tuning is prohibited. for these drivers. So what we see is what they get. So it's all about performance and all about drivers' capability and ability to steer these cars around this 4.3 kilometer circuit.
Yeah, part of me thinks that maybe Warpath was just looking to hang back a bit there and get that slipstream down the third of the long straights and then make sure that he's in front through this technical section, but I don't think it quite played out to plan, and now Renegade's getting down the inside of Warpath.
So I wonder if that's a tactic for in the ISR camp where Benjo was just slowing him down enough to think about the big picture with Renegade to make a move. But we see Warpath think about a move. No, he doesn't. So that's a bit unlucky there for Renegade there in 7th place. And then Warpath dropped down to 8th. So very unlucky for those guys there. Unlucky for Warpath, but he's holding his own, and Renegade actually goes past his teammate now in 6th place there. And Benjo's just picked himself up a half second there on the exit of the final corner there. So a bit of ghosting there. Where does Warpath go? He needs to stay on the right-hand side, Benjo, and burn that penalty off. Can he burn it off before he gets going? He does. No, he doesn't actually. So
Yeah.
he's not burning off the penalty. He didn't burn enough of it, Jarman.
No, he's failed to burn it at all in the relevant section, and that's going to be an interesting one. I'm not sure
I think Benjo just caught on the curbing there, Jarman. So unfortunately for him, he just caught into that curbing as he gets into the ghosting. So I think when it ghosts, yeah. So it's a bit of a tough one. That one, unfortunately. I believe that is a racing incident, but I think it all has to be on Benjo on that end for not burning the penalty correctly.
Yeah, there is part of me that probably says that, yeah, there's a bit on Benjo for not burning that penalty. So, of course, the ghosting causes issues coming into corners. Yeah, so it might be something for the stewards to look at later and have a more definitive look at it.
And around this track, the ghosting is absolutely terrible. I think we introduced it back in our Porsche Cup series where the ghosting was just incredibly bad, and then people just running on the inside each other, and then as soon as they get inside each other, you lose all traction, you lose all downforce, and the car just slides, and you've got no grip whatsoever.
Yeah, I believe you're right there. It was an issue at Red Bull Ring in the Porsche Cup last year, so that was where all these penalty burn points and dummy burns and all those sorts of lingos came about, all probably because of that race.
Yeah, exactly.
So Diswood, if you're watching along, I'd give you a shout out, especially with all the dummy burn memes.
He loves a dummy burn, that's for sure. But anyway, let's get back to the action. We're halfway into race 2 in the TS3 Championship for the Styrian Sprint. We have Shifty leading the way, and he's pulling away nicely there, 2.8 over Dark 74, and Vossi in 3rd place. Big Red hasn't been able to close up to Vossi there, so he's holding on to 4th nicely. KPL Baseman in 5th, and Renegade in 6th place. But the big picture here, Warpath 360, 7th place. He's looking very likely to get that championship, Jarman.
Yeah, it's looking very strong for him at this point, and with Vossi down in 3rd, it makes life a lot easier as well. He's certainly going to have a comfortable margin, and he'll probably be crowned our champion here tonight. So it's been a big couple of weeks for Track Stars. We've had, I'm trying to remember now, of course, Magical Wax, that's right, taking out the elite class of the Porsche Cup. And then, of course, yourself claiming the championship in the Formula Track Star Series as well. So, Warpath 360 will probably be our 3rd driver to be confirmed as a champion amongst Track Stars this year.
And we're only about a month to go before the conclusion of the Track Stars Racing Series season 2021 at the MB Glass St. Croix 1500 for the Elite Braking Mechanical Touring Cars Championship. So we're only a month away, Jarman. So where has this year flown by? It's absolutely incredible, and how much the racing has been going on as we see a replay between Darks looking to make a move on Vossi. It doesn't look like it. It just gets a bit twitchy there. But these guys are having a really nice battle there. But yeah, as I was saying, it's been a huge year for Track Stars Racing Series here on GT Sport here, and we've got some big things coming along the way for GT7 next year.
Yeah, we've definitely got some big plans there. Of course, we've got a big month of racing coming up as well. Of course, next weekend we'll probably be crowning another champion as well in the Formula 2 Championship. But don't ask me to predict who that'll be because there's about 6 of them that can do it.
One of them, unfortunately, is not going to be there for the race there. So what he probably all he had to do was probably keep the race, keep his nose clean, and he'd be winning the championship. But we don't want to. We want to send a big shout out to Robbo for taking that TSF2 championship lead. But unfortunately, it's not going to last long for him. So he'll brag that he managed to lead the championship in F2. So but yeah, I guess for him it's a bit unfortunate not to see him for the final round. But as we look back, we do see a bit of a bigger gap between Vossi and Dargs. So it's awesome to see that Vossi has pulled out a bit of a gap over Dargs. Big Red is a little bit further behind in 4th, KPL Baseman in 5th, and Warpath has now actually got himself up into 6th place. So just racking up those points, Warpath, you only got about 4 laps to go before that championship is yours.
Yeah, all he has to do is keep it clean from here, and hopefully we don't put the commentator's curse on him and get him a penalty.
I think he's sensible enough not to make any drastic moves. You know, I think you could say for him, he maybe must have done a few calculations before the race began, and he probably knew that he would have been the championship. He would have won the championship. All he had to do was keep the car clean. But I got to say, for Warpath 360 and to go from the start of the TS3 championship up to now, his pace has improved massively, and the battles that he's had along the way with Cyric, especially his main rival, Cyric, who is with us in the YouTube chat. It's been an unbelievable season between you guys, and to see Warpath 360 coming into the final round as champion in the TS3 Championship in its inaugural season, it just shows big credits. It just shows big up for him and the WRT Motorsport.
Yeah, he's put in a very strong drive all season, and I do feel like we probably were robbed of a thrilling championship battle between Cyric and Warpath, of course, but I believe Cyric's possibly made the right move in a way. He's gone on to probably bigger and better things as well in TS2, and of course earning a call up into the main series last weekend at Fuji. So it certainly hasn't been a hindrance to Cyric by jumping up into the 2nd division.
And it looks like, and obviously if now Warpath is going to be winning the championship in TS3, we're gonna see that rivalry renewed for those guys in the TS2 championship next year. So that'll be exciting to watch the progress of Warpath and Cyric. But we won't count out Cyric coming back into the TS3 championship as a guest racer. He's going to be jumping in the St. Croix B sprint race, and he's going to be driving in the lovely Honda NSX that DJ was going to prepare for him. Has a bit of a peak vibe for Cyric here, so I guess for him, just put a bit of a show, try to get one more battle for Warpath, as we see him making a nice move on KPL Basement, and that's him in the top 5. So 9th to 5th place is just a solid drive there for Warpath.
Yeah, great move there by Warpath up into the top 5 now. He's just going to have to try and hold on here and maybe build a bit of a gap through this bit more of a technical section in the middle of the circuit, but he's done a good job to hold off Baseman and Renegade there. And of course, now that I know that, I'm certainly looking forward to next weekend's race. Should be fun to watch Cyric and Warpath possibly go at it again, and certainly be looking forward to covering that one. I believe that'll possibly be my last round of covering TS3.
Yeah, it will be the last. Yeah,
actually, it's the last round of the series as well, so.
Yeah, exactly. So,
of course, I think this morning we'll probably be back in time to cover TS2 at St. Croix C. So.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, myself and DJ, we've been covering this championship all the way from round 1 all the way up to only the last round. So for DJ to not be in the com box, unfortunately, is a bit of a shame. But obviously, we're happy to have you back in the box. Obviously, DJ was saying he liked the commentary, and he liked the challenges that it brings. But he just says that he believes that he was holding that spot, he was holding that seat warm for you. And no, he didn't do a Jensen button. He didn't heat your seat.
No, I can definitely tell that. It's very much dry and smells nice.
Exactly. Oh, as you see, KPL Basement get all out of shape there on the back end there. Renegade just takes full advantage of that, moves itself up into 6th place. But we're going to shift away from this battle pack and we look towards the front for Shifty for the final time, rounding up the final corner, about to start his final lap here at the TS3 Championship here at the Red Bull Ring. We have Shifty leading the way. That gap has dropped massively, and Vossi just goes drifting around the final corner in turn 8 there. That was a nice power slide there for Vossi there in 2nd place, but all credit goes to Shifty. Just kept his nose clean, got out of the way for that big mess at the start, and he's come through with a nice 1.9 second lead over Vossi in 2nd.
Yeah, he's done an excellent job here. Great start at the start of the race, and certainly had a clean one throughout the race. And yep, Vossi at an arm's length throughout the whole race, and definitely deserves to take the victory if he can hang on in these final few corners. Hopefully no commentator's curse coming through.
Yeah.
Know that it's always possible, and we're very wary of it.
Yeah, anything can happen in these last couple of corners, because this is the trickier part of the track. So you want to try and plant the throttle down, but the car will just snap oversteer on you, and you can lose that 1.8 second gap that he's got now over Vossi. But Vossi's been closing that gap pretty well. So had this race gone for another, say, couple of laps here, Vossi would have been right on the back of Shifty here. But unfortunately, it is too little too late for Vossi in the number 40 ISAR race, as we see Shifty coming around the final couple of corners here, rounding up for race 2 at the Trackstars TS3 Championship here at the Red Bull Ring. And for the final time, we see XX Shifty taking the line honors for race 2 and the victory for the TS3 Championship. So big congrats to Shifty and Vossi in 2nd place. Dargs, a nice podium. Once again in 3rd place. Big Red, another 4th position for Big Red. He'll be happy with this stint. But we have to applaud this man, gentlemen. Warpath 360, 5th place, and the championship for Warpath 360 in the WRT Motorsport 360. So a huge congratulations to him and the WRT camp to wrap up the championship here at the Red Bull Ring.
Yes, big congrats going out to WRT Motorsport and Warpath 360 wrapping up the championship here. Been a great run throughout the season, very consistent performances, and yeah, a very great reward for all his efforts.
Solid performance there for Warpath 360 there all season long. Him against Styrian, against Vossi, against Shifty. Any battle he's come across, he's been providing the goods. And as we see rounding the back end of the group, we see Benjo in 9th, and we see Flapsticks make a good recovery drive into 10th place there. But all credit goes to the man in 5th place in taking out the TS3 Championship, as well as this man that has taken out race 2 here for the Styrian Sprint. It belongs to Shifty in the number 43 T&M racing team in the Nissan GTR, taking the victory and a clean race bonus for him. Not the fastest lap overall, but still a victory is a victory for him. And it is another victory for him in two victories in 2 rounds, Jarman.
Yeah, very great performance from Shifty, and yeah, certainly held on just enough at the end to make sure he's got the job done. And then of course Vossi in position 2, I believe he takes out the round, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Vossi will take out the round there, because Shifty was in 3rd place, I believe, in that one. So in that first race, so I think Vossi
might have actually been 2nd, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't remember. We have to drag back throughout the whole video, but yeah, they might be tied for points, but I guess it'll go back to qualifying, and I think Vossi will take that for bragging rights there. So Vossi is going to come around with the overall victory with Shifty in 2nd place, Dargs in 3rd. So what could have been for Dargs? He almost got close to his first victory in the TS3 Championship, but unfortunately, unlucky for him, he couldn't be able to get it. As we see, a nice performance from Big Red, but Warpath 360, a huge congratulations to that driver in 5th place there. And then rounding up the bottom half of the field, we have Renegade, KPL Baseman, Gordok 69, Benjo, and CP Flapsticks in the 10. Encidel Cowboy just missed out in the top 10, running as high up as 8th at the beginning. And then we see Soul Reaper, Oz Tormentor, and Matsmaka rounding up the final 14. Unfortunately, was unable to finish his race there.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate for Matsmaka, and yeah, he'll be probably disappointed with being unable to finish that one. But yeah, another opportunity next Sunday at St. Croix B.
Absolutely, and I hope that wasn't a pun intended for the disappointment part. So
no, I didn't think of that.
Well, he'll be listening to us spiritually as he's starting to wrap up things for the Addis Challenge Bathurst event, and hopefully he'll be making a big rush to come back home for the main event later this evening. But as we wrap up our coverage here, thank you so much for tuning in for the Trackstars TS3 Championship for the Styrian Sprint. I apologise. But a huge congratulations goes to Warpath 360 for taking out the TS3 Championship. Well-deserved championship for him, as well as our winners tonight, Vossi in the number 40 ISARD, Nissan GTR, and Shifty in the 43 TNAM, the racing team Nissan GTR. But on behalf of myself, Nick Patasse, and Spud P666 and Jarman Dell, it's racing. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys for TS2 in an hour's time.